Possum. This might be the last video. I hope, hopefully, because I don't want to, take up too much of you guys' time working on this. Anyway, okay. What we're going to do now, where we left out at least last time, is that we're working in the fog bounds. Oh, we're working on the fog bounds for this local fog volume. We took a look at how it's doing its extinction. So the white parts, just to reiterate, are where the fog is going to be rendering. The black parts are kind of where it's going to be feathered out. This is mainly for, what we're seeing right now is like a preview of how the fog is going to interact at the very edges of the bounds that we're getting. And this is mainly, yeah, because we're not hooking up the fog mask yet. This line is mainly just looking at the distance between the center point and the furthest edges of the bounds. This little note right here from from like the size of the object that we're giving it. Okay. Oh, size, the volume. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to connect in this other part of our extinction mask, which is going to be essentially we're going to like play a cloud texture running along the base and mask out the top part of it, so the fog is only at like the very bottom of the volume. So to do that, I'm going to just copy my absolute warp position and my transform position, and let me just make sure I actually set this to the right thing real quick. Yes, okay. So let me copy these two. Paste them up here. Absolute position, transform position from absolute world space to local space. That's good. And then from this, I'm going to drag off, get a component mask. I'm going to mask out its X and Y, which are R and G. Again, RGBA are just, they're just 4 channels, so it's red, green, blue, and alpha, but they're just 4 different names for channel slots. If you're working with something like a 3D mesh, RG and B is just X, Y, and Z. And I only want to get the X and Y, and I can show you why in a second. So let's see. I'll preview this for a second. This will mean nothing. This means nothing to me, but I would just like previewing to see what it looks like. I will divide. So I will add a divide node. I'll make this align and Q. My headset disconnected. That's fine. I'm going to divide this by 100. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to set up, I guess you call it like the texture, texture density for the cloud texture we're going to put on here. So I added a divide node. I can preview it. This should, if I'm not mistaken, right now we can see like there's a crisp, clear definition between these different colors, which are representations of, I believe, we're only on X and Y of like the different. That's my controller vibrating, and this is vibrating. Like if I look at this transform position, believe we're looking at like the different points on this cube. So each color is a different point, or well, vertex. We have masked out the Z channel or the blue channel, so we're not going to be seeing anything that's blue or blue-ish. So I think no green, no black, no blue, no cyan. If I look at this again, yeah. Well, we have green. I guess that's not as blue as I thought it was, but we don't have any of the light blues. So if I divide from this, I believe it's going to look like these colors are going to be more feathered out. I was correct. Yay. Okay. I'm glad I understand some of this. Let me drag off from this. I will multiply. I'll multiply this by a scalar. I cannot spell that ever. I'll call this texture size. And what we're doing right now is because it is, if I just get the normal component mask, we see it's a lot crisp and clear. If I divide, we see it's a bit more feathered. If I multiply in a scalar value here, we can control how much feathering we're getting. So like the texture, I would probably call it like texture quality is what we're doing, but you know, different people call it different stuff. Let's see. Default to 1. I'll put a max of 10. Can change this if I want. But if I now look and preview this node, since it's 1 right now, it's not going to change anything. But if I bump this up to 10, this should look a lot more crisp. Yeah, there we go. But I'll put it back to 1. That's 0. Cool beans. Okay. Q for cleanliness. Now we're going to mess with the panning of our texture, which we haven't put in yet, but let me drag off from this. I'll create a panner, which is going to animate our fog billowing across the base of the mesh. All right, into our coordinates, that's fine. I'll drag off from speed. I'll add a multiply. Let's see, and so speed is just X and Y. So I want to change, you know, how it's animating across the base of my mesh. You know, it's speed going in the X direction and Y direction. So I'm going to plug this back in. I will give this a constant vector 2. Since if we're moving this in the X and the Y, a constant vector 2 is, well, it's X and Y. Let me put this as -4. So I want this to be going left and, well, left. I want this to be going in a negative X direction and a negative Y direction. So negative 0.41. Darn it. Negative 0.41. And these values you can mess with and play with. If I want this to go like really slow, I can change these to be lower, closer to 0. But I'm also just going to put in a scalar here because we're multiplying. So I can put in a animation speed, and I can just mess with this scalar value down here to change how fast the clouds are going to be animating across the volume. 0.1, and I'll set this to 1. It doesn't really matter what you cap it at. It's just if you put it like super high, it'll be, you know, clouds flying at you. I did not mean to preview that. Just want to expand it. Okay, lovely. And I'm just going to copy this. Well, duplicate it. Plug in our multiply into our coordinate. And now we're going to add in our textures. So what we're doing right now is that we're kind of like messing with how fast the cloud textures, how fast they're, how to phrase it. Okay, I'll put this into where it's supposed to go. I'll look for a texture 2D parameter. I'll call this our fog texture. And we can see it's supposed to go into our UV, so this is going to be like animating our clouds in the local fog volume. It's going to be animating where they are, so that's what since we're animating their UVs, it's going to be like moving them across the local fog volume. And because this is a texture 2D parameter, we can sure I got the right stuff for this. Let's see. I think I'm okay. Okay, I gotta change a few things, but that's all right. Let's see. I want to give you a texture, so I will scroll down, look into its default texture. I have a few in here. I don't want to go on my engine. I want to go my volumetric folder, and I have these two. I have 3 textures. I'm going to give it cloud texture alpha. And these textures you can just find online. I just Google like cloud texture. These aren't even good ones because they're not seamless. The only thing to worry about for this is if I look at my cloud texture. So I have 2 copies of the same one. If I open up this one, if you look up like a normal cloud texture, you'll get a cloud texture that normally comes in as like, with R, G, and B, but no alpha. I get these just for standard JPEGs or PNGs, and we're gonna want to include a alpha channel, which we could do by things under compression. Yeah, by default, normally you'll get like a default BC1 or BC3 with alpha, but this texture didn't come up with an alpha, so that's why we can't click on it. There's nothing in it. All I did was that I duplicated it, and I changed this compression settings from the very top one to alpha, no RGB. So right now, there's just it sets its alpha to the R channel. Not sure why I wouldn't just keep it in the A one, but these 3 are no longer clickable, and only the R is. Okay, let me go back to Volumetric Fog. That said, our sampler type is alpha. I think normally it comes in as color, so you gotta make sure you change that to alpha. And I will duplicate this again. Put it down here. Plug in my panner to this UV. Set that up over there. And now we're going to be applying the fog mask. So, oh, there it is. I'm gonna get my name to reroute, which is called fog mask. And I'm going to get a inverse linear interpolation between, let's see, I want my fog mask to be its value. So it's going to be determining how much of A or B it's going to give me. I'm going to put in my fog mask into the R channel, which is the alpha, which is weird, into the B. I can preview this if I want. I don't think I'll see anything. Oh, I can already see things. Yeah, okay. So we can kind of see what we're going for right now. We're trying to get the cloud texture to pan along the bottom of our volume, which is what we did by giving it a cloud texture, and then putting this panner into the UV to make it animate along the volume. But we're gonna have to invert this because black is going to be not visible, white is visible, so we have to invert this. Let's see. I'm going to grab my texture part. I'm going to move it back and up so it's a bit out of the way. And I'm going to want to, for my inverse lerp, saturate this, which will put its black and white values between 0 and 1. We'll clamp it between 0 and 1. Let's see, because I guess if white is visible, black is not. Anything above white, anything above 1, it doesn't really, 2 isn't going to do anything. So it's better just to clamp it between 0 and 1, or at least it might cause issues if we don't. And I want to invert this because I want the cloud to be visible, I want the clouds to be visible, and right now they're black, so I'll invert it. I'll play it. Nice. We're starting to look really good. We get the clouds along the base. And I believe with that, I can plug this into the extinction node that I kind of had just connected up here. And if I look to see what's previewing, oh, lovely. If I want, I'm going to put this at 1. This should give me a little more feathering at the base, I think. Yeah, it does. Cool beans. Okay, so we're making this work. It's almost done. Running out of time, so I will actually cut it here. The last thing we have to do, because we're almost done, is just give it a little bit of color and test it out. And I think we're good. So let me pause it here, and I will see you guys in the last video.